Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I remember years ago, I was speaking to a young lady about Islam, and alhamdulillah, before even talking about Islam, you have to first make sure that they're interested in the whole concept of religion first, right? They have to care about what is the purpose of my life, and then you could specify the religion of Islam being the correct answer to this question. Anyhow, so she was completely uninterested in the whole concept of what is the purpose of life and why do we exist. She said, these things don't interest me. I just live my life. I just try to, focus on my work, and that's all that matters to me. And so I was like, how do we address this? And so I used a question, an analogy, if you will, that I've been using for years, and I think it's extremely helpful. So essentially what I said to her is, I want you to imagine that one day, somehow you just pass out, and then when you wake up, you're in this factory. You've never seen this place before, you don't know where you are, it's just this big factory. And in this factory, you see people are working, right? People are moving boxes, they're just passing them on, and they're making piles of boxes, whatever the case is, they're all just doing some sort of jobs. Now, let's say you have two possible reactions. Reaction number one is you slowly get up, you see the assembly line, and you kind of include yourself in the assembly line, and you pass on the boxes just like everybody else. That's one option. A second option is that you kind of have this, you could say, freak out moment where you say, what is going on? How did I get here? What is this place? How long are we going to be here for? What is the point of all this, and so on and so forth. I said, which one do you think you would be? Do you think you just kind of get in line and do what everybody else is doing? Or would you have this moment where you ask a lot of questions? And she said, well, obviously, the second one. I'd want to know, why am I here? Why am I inside of this factory? How did I get here? How long am I going to be here? What's the point of all this, etc. I said, well, the purpose of the analogy is that the factory is supposed to represent this world, right? And the moving of the boxes is just everybody's job. Some people, I don't know, they cut hair for a living. Some people, they own a restaurant. Some people, they work as a lawyer or a doctor or whatever the case is. These are all just jobs. They're all just moving boxes. They're doing some sort of a job. The fact of the matter is, you were born to this world, and you don't know how you got here, what you're supposed to be doing here, or where you're going. And you said that you're the type of person that's going to ask questions. How did I get here? What's the purpose of this life? How long are we going to be here? Where do we go after we leave? You said you'd be the type of person that would ask these questions. But it sounds like, based on the fact that you have no intellectual curiosity about these questions, it really sounds like you'd be the type of person who just gets in line and moves the boxes like everybody else. And I remember that really floored her. She was just shocked. She was like, what? No, I mean, well, and I said, well, that's your description, right? I mean, that's what you said. And so, alhamdulillah, I think it was a successful analogy in order to make her realize that being ignorant isn't something to be proud of. And this is something that a lot of people have this attitude, unfortunately. They feel like, oh, I don't understand the purpose of life, I don't ask these questions, I'm ignorant of this whole topic, and I'm proud of that fact. And so the objective of this analogy is to make you realize ignorance is not something to be proud of. The idea of saying, I don't care about where we came from or what we're doing here, or where we're going, this is not something to be happy about. Curiosity is your strength. Curiosity is a beautiful thing. And it's something that you want to embrace. Just like the person who wakes up in this random place, you want to be that curious person who's asking questions. So alhamdulillah, my advice to everybody is try it out yourself. If you know somebody who says, I'm not interested in these questions, and they're sort of proud of their own ignorance, offer them this analogy, and you'll see very quickly, inshallah, that they will no longer be proud of being ignorant. In fact, hopefully, they're going to ask themselves the questions, what is the purpose of my life? Where do we come from? What are we doing here? And where are we going? Jazakallah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.